this season. EKC picks up Atlas's lab, which has been their favorite, where they are undefeated as well. So we'll see whether or not the S.A.D.B.O.I.S can turn it into Vaughn's lab once more. Playground will be our final map, and the striker selection has already happened. So the Luna was banned away by S.A.D.B.O.I.S. EKC bans away the Zentaro. Other than that, pretty standard stuff for everybody playing up to this point. Maybe the only real note is that the X is picked first by NXCD, despite the fact that he's been popping off so far on the Juliet. The Julie will instead fall to Bells as pick 6. And with the Luna banned away, Kitsuna opt for the Era above all else, which is a little uncharacteristic of him overall.
I will say that Katsuna in particular has had a lot of success on Era. Maybe that's just because he's one of the few people who still plays the character. She's not picked that often, but Katsuna has a lot of experience on Era. And Era X is kind of a return to the classics, right? Meanwhile, I would say that the boys are kind of running the new age comp. I mean, this now goalie has not been a thing for very long, but still provides, the same sort of speed boosts to your team if you can use them instrumentally.
And with the speed meta right now, Vaughn classic pick on Makai in the midfield slot. Peak performance is the pickup for almost everyone, with the exception of NXCD, who will take the prize fighter. Back in my day, prize fighter starts were somewhat fun because one team would often pick all prize fighter. But I suppose with the other one is peak performance, which has potential to even scale even more as the game goes on. Probably not where you want to start things off, but as we get started, it's EKC taking both goal barriers first, and Kitsuna doing a great job so far of cutting off passes up to Bells. You already lose, gets involved here on the lifeline. Bells will find the barrier. The NXCD will take it away, kill any momentum that might have been had, and good collapse on the goal here from EKC means that NXCD will punch in the first one.
Yeah, NXCD, interestingly enough, also the only player in the lobby to opt for slip kicks. The reason that Bells has opted for Magnetized Souls, presumably, is to allow easier patrolling of the midfield with those dash punches. I'm a little surprised that NXCD didn't do the same thing, especially because he's hovering around the goal barrier a lot, but I guess the man likes his slicks, and you can't fault him for that.
Not at all. Oh, beautiful double there by Bells coming in the Flying Phoenix. Vaughn starting to collapse, but Strike War is lost. Vaughn comes again to recover on the Blazing Pace, and Bells is there to cover the clear angle from Soren. Good collapse on the goal, and it equalizes our game here early.
Yeah, I like the I like the approach of boys in this game in particular. I mean, they're the S.A.D.B.O.I.S, so shouldn't really expect too much less. But I like the double Mag Souls pickup. We're going to see Bells and Vaughn floating back and forth across the midfield for essentially the whole game. And that's not even them taking advantage of that gear pickup, but more just that it's, the way that the map is played. An unfortunate own barrier take there, but all the other barriers remain standing, and nobody's getting KO'd quite yet.
Energy Burst starting to come online. Here's one out of You Already Lose. Vaughn is close while NXCD has his. Soren tries to get the core out of that precarious situation. Bells finds one barrier. In the meantime, and Vaughn, once again, really about working as much of the pitch as you can on this Kai, but impossible to do that when you're sent off of it. NXCD will find the KO, finds the goal barrier here, and now Soren looks for the angle. You Already Lose is ready for it. Seen that one before, but Soren pops Bells off the map, and it's a double power play opportunity for a split second. That'll mean that EKC has all of the control of the core and will put away the goal.
Not only did they excel in core control that point, but those KOs also gave NXCD 3 prize fighter stacks to work with. So already that pick is paying off for him. I also want to comment on how he's actually getting these KOs. We've seen him a couple times now go for Vaughn with the Bell Ringer into ultimate combo. Normally you would go secondary into ultimate, which I feel like would set off a lot of other players' alarm bells. Like right there, we saw Vaughn evade the secondary instinctively, but the primary might catch the boys off guard, and it seems to be rewarding them well so far.
It is still early, so plenty of time to adapt to such things, and if there's one team that I would expect to be able to recognize and adapt, it would be the S.A.D.B.O.I.S, of any team in the league. Vaughn again on the blazing pace. Looking forward to B.O.I.S here, and the interesting thing, and as we go further along, is which team scales more? Because you think about it, right? The X era generally, right, for all eternity at Omega Strikers has been considered the scaling duo. Doesn't come online till set 3 in a lot of instances, but so far EKC has actually been pumping out a decent bid, and in the current meta where speed is largely king, obviously anyone in this lobby is going to benefit from speed, but I think B.O.I.S probably, above all else, feels incredibly slow right now. The more opportunities that B.O.I.S has to pick up speed or size for that matter, I think the better off the S.A.D.B.O.I.S are going to be, and B.O.I.S might be looking for a couple more plays. Dribble to himself, and now will find the goal there, striking during the Flying Phoenix. Sends the core away and sends us to a 5th goal in set 1.
Something I will say to your, query about the scaling is that, in my opinion, now goalie does not scale nearly as much as now does in the midfield. So you already lose, probably not going to get as much of a difference out of Now's transformative awakenings as a Now midfielder would. Some would say that, that's a bit of a detriment to your team's scaling, but honestly, there's usually someone who gets the short end of the stick in the draft as B.O.I.S finds a nice dash punch into flip there. Buffing your brawler, letting B.O.I.S get more of these dash punches and power plays is mainly going to be nicer. You don't need your goalie to scale to hell on this map.
We'll see whether or not B.O.I.S can find even more. The more opportunities the B.O.I.S will have, the better. Gonna be rough to find those opportunities again. When you're KO'd, NXCD comes in once more to find it. Good bewitching beam. Pick up here for Kitsuna. Now the Maelstrom sweeps through. Good collapse of the goal. Soren's involved as well. But the hold is made for now. Vaughn is on the back line. And B.O.I.S comes back on. Almost finds the goal himself. But it goes off the post. Vaughn up to B.O.I.S. Kitsuna's in the way. There's a cyber swipe in. NXCD does have the energy burst. Glitch pop is up. Here's the dribble play. We'll check Vaughn. But Vaughn will come right out of the barrage in order to make that happen. Soren's on the back lines, just waiting for any shot opportunity here. And now B.O.I.S, this time on the dribble. Glitch pop comes up just shy, and it gives B.O.I.S the window to make the goal happen. S.A.D.B.O.I.S are up in the first set.
Some seriously impressive defense in the reverse power play there. I mean, so many right on the goal line saves from Vaughn, and you already lose. Just really impressive. I was talking about how y'all probably didn't really need the scaling on Now, but picking up Timeless and having Manu on the board as an option is going to be massive. That does leave Manu on the board for Katsuna's era all the way at the back of the draft. I'm guessing that's probably what is going to be picked up here. Nope, size. Okay, Manu era is weak, guys. You heard it here first. But yeah, there's some more size and speed via peak performance for B.O.I.S that you were talking about, K-Bot. Definitely going to be a massive buff to the boys. I think I have to say that draft is won by them, if not solely because Manu went unpicked.
They'll come out, guns blazing in the first couple seconds of this one, but action will start to die down. Now here comes B.O.I.S collapsing out with the Fiery Flurry. No, that gets denied. Sent away by Kitsuna, who might be hoping that the extra size allows for some extra strike war victories, but hasn't been successful thus far. But you already lose. Sneaking forward on that top side of the map, locks things down and throws it through.
Yeah, you already lose is going to get significantly more opportunities now, especially because kind of the Now goalie new meta is leaving just a minefield of crap for the enemy forwards to deal with. And with this Timeless Creator, he's going to be able to do that even more because his minefield with, the sentry drones and the actual Now mines are going to stay up significantly longer gives them a little bit more time to run up and apply pressure from the midfield.
Coming in on the lifeline again. Spells behind the goal barrier. Gigablast tries to get it back on up to him. Glitch Pop intercepts. Nailstrom is going to sweep through here in a minute. Vaughn recognizes that. Tries to play a little more passively, but EKC will start to collapse on it. There's the energy burst. Here's another one from Kitsuna. Finds the goal barrier. NXCD still has his, but now Bells looks for the KO almost immediately as NXCD goes the X Maximus. All the meanwhile, the shot is made by Soren. It goes like just to the hands. You already lose. Waiting there on the defensive side. NXCD drops back. Kitsuna looking for the dribble play. There's the butterfly speed. Coming here for Kitsuna. Bells now dribble to himself. No, that one gets sent away by the bull rush of NXCD. There's the energy burst. Good play by Vaughn. Soren's ready for it. Almost unreactable, but finds a way to keep it out. Once again, Four flies back and forth. Still looking for a play here. Now starts to collapse on it. Soren, goal line. Now finds the cyber swipe. There's a power play opportunity, but no one has the core for EKC. Precious time is getting sent away. And with that drone coming out of You Already Lose as well, the power play is all but killed at this point. Soren looks for it. Here's finally the pressure that EKC needed, and it's enough. Just in the last second.
Yeah, EKC demonstrating why they've been one of the main boys rivals in previous seasons. Not only making good season showings, but specifically, I mean, you mentioned that Season 3 finale going up against the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. They're showing again why they deserve to contend with these guys. And, I mean, if anybody's going to take down the boys in this series, I would put my money on EKC.
Well, the other thing, too, for EKC is, I think, with last season, I think they came into this season with something more to prove, right? And I think for these players, they're not in the same breath, right? You always hear it's Showtime, S.A.D.B.O.I.S, Demons. Okay, great. But other teams have had successes, and I think EKC is one of the teams this season that really wanted to grind, really wanted to show that they have something still left in them. They have more potential in this roster, and they continue to demonstrate and show that every time they play. They find a strategy that allows them to be successful on the pitch overall. They'll be looking to translate that into a set win here. Still a decent upset for them, as both teams are pretty close on the standings. But a match loss like this for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S could mean that they end up once again in the lower side of the bracket, which has not deterred them in seasons past from taking the crown, but will still be something to consider, not having that extra life. Power play opportunity will be dissipated. S.A.D.B.O.I.S still looking to keep up pressure, though. Here's Bells. You Already Lose comes in with a lifeline to support, even with Bells shrunk by the bewitching beam. And we're on goal 10 in this game.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the EKC synergy right now. I mean, you talked about them finding a strategy to work around these top teams. And I do think that their strength is synergy. They lost it there for a brief minute, that last point. Boys were able to collapse in. But when all three of EKC are able to link up, really press up, we've seen Soren take control of the midfield quite a few times this match. Their offensive synergy is kind of unparalleled. I think that even though these players individually might not necessarily match up with Bells, Vaughn, or You Already Lose, as a team, they certainly do. And as we continue the 5th point here, we'll see if they're able to tie up the sets.
Bells now. Oh no, just fakes out Soren completely. Baits him in to taking that. He knows it too. We'll spam the emotes on top of him, and You Already Lose once again will get pick of the litter here in this carousel. Continues holding it down and providing value from the goal box. Gotten involved in a couple of offensive plays here as well, and not even any super major denials, but just take away Chrono Boost. No, instead opts for a twin drive here, interestingly enough.
Yeah, twin drive again, playing into the now goalie game plan of setting up all of your defenses preemptively and just letting those abilities sit on the field until they absolutely need to be popped. Lots of speed and KO potential on Vaughn and Bells, respectively. More knife's edge falling to Vaughn, but 1-2 punch on that Julie is never something to be sneezed at. Meanwhile, NXCD still just rocking the initial prize fighter pickup for KO pressure, but that's not stopping him from almost taking Vaughn out right there at the start of the set.
Yeah, with Vaughn playing around the edges, there could be more opportunities for EKC to find some KOs, but even still, like you mentioned, there's not a lot of actual KO pressure coming in from them. Sure, they find one every once in a while, and if EKC can get the prize fighter stacks rolling, then there could be more in any given set. It's been difficult to find, at least so far. NXCD reads Vaughn. Here's Kitsuna now with the core, and it slips past Vaughn. Uncharacteristically there, the Giga Blast doesn't connect, and EKC goes up in set 3.
Yeah, I'll be honest, if anyone has KO potential on EKC, it's Soren, rocking the Super Surge Spark of Strength, IME goalie. But, oh, there's NXCD with a beautiful dash punch, laned in by Katsuna's Era Tornado. That'll give him a KO, an Ad Rush proc, and a prize fighter stack. This dude does have a KO engine if he can get it offline, and there's both of the barriers down.
Double barrier taken as well from EKC. The second, though, that Vaughn comes back online, starts to try to play forward here. Now passes to himself off that middle barrier. Bells doesn't come up with it from the Flying Phoenix, and there's 2 energy bursts online right now for EKC. Can opt to use them defensively, you imagine, though, wanting to save them on the offensive side of the pitch. Oh no, NXCD finds the barrier, flashes the gold. Oh, classic from him. There's the energy burst. Once again, finds an awkward bounce. Soren's ready for it that time, too. And open goal gates on both sides, even still. Energy burst not playing to EKC's favor thus far. But now S.A.D.B.O.I.S connection starts to come through. You saw that opportunity there. Soren saves it. The passes continue. Up to Bells now, looking for himself. Couldn't find it with the punch. Glitch pop once again, not letting Bells breathe. Don't give this brawler the pedigree of Bells, his ability to convert. Soren does not want to let him, not want to give him a single inch. Overall, NXCD will find the KO there with the bell ringer. There's a power play opportunity and the energy burst on the goal line to send it through. EKC up 2-0 in set 3.
And simultaneously erasing that energy advantage that the S.A.D.B.O.I.S had. A highly efficient point for them. Also maxing out those prize fighter stacks for NXCD. Essentially everything that EKC could have wanted out of that point, they got. And as they have a 2-point lead in this set now, it's prime time for them to take a set in the series.
Yeah, but I've seen S.A.D.B.O.I.S come back from these before. Plenty of times have they had the opportunity to do just that. Vaughn looking for Bells on the top side, but really doesn't want to just send the core across. Afraid of any potential thing that could get in the way. Glitch pop there almost backfires, but actually ricochets off the back wall. NXCD with another KO. That's a 4 KO streak. He's on 3 prize fighter stacks for this set. Vaughn in the way, though, of the connection towards the goal. NXCD almost on the energy burst. Bells maybe looking for the KO out of the Fire's flurry, but no, not that time. NXCD lunging forward. Not there in time to make a play off of Kitsuna's energy burst there either, but now pops the X Maximus and Vaughn is down once again. NXCD has had the S.A.D.B.O.I.S midfielders number in this game, or at least in this set, and a nice passing play to finish it off for BKC. The first set only a 3-0, but they'll take that set and win, and they're building a lot of momentum here heading forward into the later stages of this game.
Yeah, I mean, you said it at the start. Both of these teams have a massive potential to scale, but certainly Era X is kind of the notorious scaling comp to rule them all. With perfect form on this X, NXCD is just going to have constant cooldowns to oppress, in particular, Vaughn even further. I think it's very smart that Kitsuna is denying away that stagger swagger to give Vaughn even less survivability to work with. He'll opt for Missile Prop instead, and it'll be Bells who ends up picking up Catalyst. Egoist is still on the board, So still a little bit of scaling opportunity for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S, but with Soren threatening a triple spark in next draft and the Era X scaling already online, it's looking better and better for EKC, more and more scary for the boys.
What's worth noting, too, with Soren having 2 sparks already, Spark of Resilience is the only one that hasn't made an appearance and that no one's picked up yet. So, Soren started with peak performance as a starter awakening, so if he picks up Resilience, that's even more speed for this goalie, and you'd expect that the IME would go for dash range at some point, but I think in the next draft, probably will have the opportunity to take dash range or that final spark, meaning that if this goes to 5, Soren will be feeling quite comfortable. Finally, NXCD in the interim has been taken off of the pitch, and that will neutralize the prize fighter set back down to 1. And goal barriers still remain online for both sides. Kitsuna almost taken off the pitch, but finds the core flip to the corner of the barrier. Bells responds immediately on the other side. Cyberswipe almost takes Vaughn away, but there's the fiery flurry from Bells, trapping the core and trapping Soren. Bells knows it too. Might be trying to play mental warfare here against Soren, interestingly enough. And the S.A.D.B.O.I.S on the goal. They've got 2 more to take game 1.
Yeah, boys are in line to take it here if they can keep the momentum up. Certainly, NXCD probably the biggest obstacle, but they seem to just kind of be ignoring NXCD, going for barriers immediately. Bells on the offensive, will just strike. Soren not in position to catch it. That's boys on game point now.
Game point for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. You know, the other comment worth noting, you already lose picking up the extra special in the last draft. Means that the lifeline, he'll now have the opportunity to get involved even more on the offensive side. But Kitsuna, double barrier, right off the rip here in this last one. Bells finds it as well. Might have bounced off. Does have the energy burst here. Try to keep this one away from Bells right now is the game plan, but oh no, he still has it and finds it up to the top corner. S.A.D.B.O.I.S will take game 1 despite even how much EKC attempted to do. Well done by them again. You notice it time and time again with this team. The level of synergy that they have with one another, their ability to find the passing plays, and then their ability to execute, even despite when the odds look against them. When Vaughn continuously gets KO'd by NXCD, even still, he'll find a way to get the core up to Bells later on in the game for Bells to put it away.
Yeah, well, and not only is Vaughn kind of the master of finding these highly unconventional pass angles. I mean, we saw it multiple times, dribbling off the wall or even the night market barriers in the middle to get it up to his forward. But Bells also, just as a result of playing with these teammates for so long, instinctively knows how they want to get the core to him and is able to position perfectly to receive. So, I mean, it's not like these guys are reacting to one another's plays on the fly. It's more like the S.A.D.B.O.I.S is a hive mind of pro Omega Strikers players sweeping across the field to claim their victory. Certainly never gets old to watch it.
No, it does not, and it's been rough so far this season for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. They're currently sitting at a 2-3 record. Win here would put them at 50-50 on the season heading into the final 3 matches. Some of it has been due to subs. Some of it, of course, is the traditional S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Like, we're not going to take the season as seriously heading in, and then it starts to ramp up towards the later stages of the season. We might be seeing some of that now, although I imagine when we come back from the holiday break, it'll come in full effect there as well. But worth noting, of course, that was game 1. That was on the S.A.D.B.O.I.S map pick of Night Market. We now go to Atlas's Lab. EKC, up to this point in the season, is 4-0 on this map. EKC has already played against Bozo Bunch, Showtime. Who else did they play so far? Where's their other match? And they have played against Demons, and they remain 4-0 on this map. So we'll see if they're able to pull it together for this next one. And could honestly depend on how the draft goes. I think one pick to watch out for And one pick that I think both teams have been favoring here quite a bit, that we've seen rise up and a decent bit of priority, is the rune. I would not be surprised to see Kitsuna on it at all. And I know Vaughn has a rune that he might just consider playing and taking it away from Kitsuna, keeping the Luna ban, taking that rune away, and then maybe Kitsuna has to go back to the Era or goes back to the Juno or something of the sort. Doesn't have a lot of options there, maybe, but even still, of course, Kitsuna is going to be a presence to work around. It'll just be a matter, I think, of where this rune goes as we look at this.
Yeah, Rune, it's nice to see him back at the forefront. For so long, you were trolling if you drafted Rune. But several players, I mean, we just saw Scyther on it in the goal box in the last series. And then obviously Shianzu and Vaughn have been bringing it in from time to time. Now they're playing it all the time. Katsuna with one of his own. With the stacks on stack start as well, does kind of fill in a lot of the gaps that Rune has. He's very limited in mobility because really all of his sphere of influence is where he is and where his secondary is, and then you have your primary range outside of that. But definitely doesn't have the same blink agency like this Aimi does that the boys have just drafted as their first pick. Have to imagine that that's falling to you already lose in the goal box. Been a pack one, pick one grab for that player since way back in season 1.
Aimi, also the most popular striker so far this season, has almost a 50% pick ban rate. I imagine after the day today might be over that 50% mark. And now we see the now picked up on the other side of the pitch, this time for EKC, that has potential to go to the goal box for Soren as well. He's been a proponent of that pick for some time. Interestingly, again, NXAD opting for the Axe instead of the Julie. I'm still waiting to see NXAD on the Julie again. He was absolutely obliterated like week 1. We haven't seen much of it. Bells will instead take up the pick here for this Juliet, and I suspect this leaves the midfielder picks left. Vaughn has to make the more blind pick, and we'll see what he elects to do. Or, of course, I mean, the Army could go midfield, but I kind of doubt it. You already lose has been standard, and picks away Kitsuna's Juno, interestingly, there enough. So, again, last pick here. Maybe it's a rune, I suppose, with the stacks. Could look towards something else with the missile propulsion start, but kind of unlikely in the grand scheme of things.
I will say, at first glance, I saw the Juno. I don't recall ever seeing Vaughn play Juno. Surely he's played the character enough to be fantastic at it, right?
Yeah.
I have to imagine, though, that it works incredibly well with his playstyle. I mean, this dude gets so creative with strike angles that having blobs that can do the exact same thing for you is going to be massive. There's that rune that you were talking about, picked up by Katsuna. It looks like you had a bit of a soul read on this draft, K-Bot, except for which side the Julie was going to fall to.
Yeah. I still want to see NXT play it, but hey, that's just me. We'll see.
Bells has said
here.
Miss Clock, which I believe is supposed to say Miss Click in the chat.
Yeah. Dialogue around the bands, striker bands here, but I think with the missile propulsion start and a stacks start with the speed, you just don't give the respect to Vaughn, take away the Kai, move on with your life, and you'll be feeling a little bit better with it overall. And we'll see where this goes. Again, Atlas's lab map that EKC has been very comfortable on so far this season, and now we'll see if they can pull it off here versus the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. They did keep game 1 relatively close. Both of the first 2 sets went to a full 10 goals. And then they were able to dominate in set 3, losing set 4 in similar fashion. We'll get into this one in a bit. It does look like our players are going through the full ban phase. So we'll get into this one in a little more delayed fashion.
Yeah, I think that was the Dubu supposed to be their actual ban, I guess. I'm not sure if that's a...
No, that's just a meme. I
Okay,
don't think it
cool.
matters.
That's just a meme. Yeah, I'm not sure where the misclick was, because yeah, I mean it looks like the boys are drafting exactly what they put on the pick ban, but I don't know. The mistake is somewhere that I'm blind to.
I think Bells, Bells was not the one that was the misclick. The misclick he believes was EKC batting away the Kai, presumably. That's the joke. We'll get into this one here. It's a stack start for every striker in the game, meaning that KOs will be that much more important. And Kitsune already finds an anomaly to take a barrier away. Now there's one on the other side of the pitch here as well. And now continues to tighten this one up. EKC opening up the barrier. Soren will send it away. Here's a banish against Bells. It'll be interesting to see where Kitsune goes with this rune, because those banishes can interrupt any play from Bells rather quickly. But of course, if there's anything about this team, we expect them to be able to improvise. NXCD will expect to find a few KOs.
Yeah, I would imagine that the X will be getting substantially more KOs in this match, especially because you can combo abilities off of the rune banish if you know the timing. And I'd imagine if Katsuna is your teammate, you probably know the rune banish timing pretty good. So yeah, lots of KO opportunities for the side of EKC here, which is even stronger as a result of the stacks on stack start, because it secures the speed advantage. As they score a second point here, EKC is looking quite strong in this game.
Fantastic rune play is just so fun to watch. You banish one player, you shadow swap to the other one. That's exactly where the core is. You strike it into the net before the goalie can even react. Chef's kiss. Kitsune takes away the second goal here in our game. You already lose is scrambling on the back lines. Glitch pop backwards. Here's the core flip, though, from Soren on this now. Doesn't find it. Kitsune looks to try to defend here, and actually EKC gets away with both barriers intact, despite just how forwardly committed Soren was. Vaughn, Blabo bounce backwards. Bells will find the KO back into his own net. Double KO there. See two players taken away, and now you see both barriers. EKC in trouble, but no, Soren sends the core flying. The Blabo comes up just short. EKC takes that one.
Yep, no goalie in the net to stop that core going wide. The NXCD Bull Rush did manage to grab You Already Lose on his way out. Another great draft here. A second time that we've seen Monumentalist come up for a now first pick. But Soren does actually take it this time. Unlike You Already Lose, does opt for the Monumentalist. I believe Timeless is the favored pick nowadays for now goalies, but certainly Monumentalist is nothing to sneeze at. Sparks picked up by both brawlers. Primetime on Katsuna is going to be a bit of a game changer, though. Especially because, I mean, as we've mentioned, this dude kind of cooks on the rune. So definitely a fantastic draft all around for both of these teams. Really loaded for an early draft. We'll see what they're able to make of it.
Bells will be able to find a KO. Off rip first. The Fiery Flurry. The one thing I want to call to attention is You Already Lose on the Super Surge. That'll be a lot more agency on the offensive side of the map for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Vaughn will pick up the team player here as well for quicker core speed, getting it up to Bells. And Vaughn will often play a little bit further back in general. So no surprise there that he'll want that team player to get the core up to Bells. Banish comes through, though. Bells low on stagger. Doesn't even care for the moment. Fiery Flurry comes out, and Vaughn comes up with the Blabo Fling to send the core in.
The CCL logo being flashed at Soren. Noted goalie of... it's not coming to me at this moment in time. I play against this guy in CCL.
Lakeland University?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Two flips, though, for Vaughn and You Already Lose. One on the way for Bells, and there goes the barrier. The boys are off to a heated start this set, likely to close it out in the next few moments.
Energy Burst is out there. Vaughn, once again, looks to get it up to Bells. There's a glitch pop backwards for You Already Lose. B.O.I.S on the Flying Phoenix is there, and the core gets stuck there on the top side thanks to the Fiery Flurry. B.O.I.S will take the second goal here, and once again, it's mental warfare out here. I mean, this is absurd so far. 2 energy bursts, though, online for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Vaughn to B.O.I.S will find a goal barrier. Maintaining the energy burst. Will likely look for a second here. Vaughn takes it himself. A lot committed here at the moment, but B.O.I.S gets popped off the pitch. Taken out immediately. And EKC is the power play opportunity. Banishes out here. There's the anomaly. Looking for NXZD. Can't find it. Goes back down. And Kitsuna keeps up the pressure here. Now will use the energy burst just to evade getting KO'd. Goal barrier is lost by the S.A.D.B.O.I.S, and NXZD starts closing in. Kitsuna tries to pull a fancy room play, but doesn't find it. Now B.O.I.S on the dribble. Soren finds the clear. Will send it away. And the strike war won by NXZD. They're close to the midfield line. Doesn't matter though. S.A.D.B.O.I.S still in pursuit. Good dodge by B.O.I.S. Does not get caught by the banish that particular time. Soren still has the energy burst online, uses it there, lifeline forward, gets it up to Kitsuna. NXZD doesn't find his own core flip in time. B.O.I.S knocked away, but the core goes flying around that corner. I have no idea why the core went that fast. But the S.A.D.B.O.I.S will take that, and it's a 3-0 set to respond to the 3-0 set. Vaughn is up first in the draft.
Yeah, Vaughn continuing the theme of just generating core speed for the team. Picked up the team player last draft, the hot shot on the Juno for this draft. That's big strides made. B.O.I.S gets his second spark online here. I have to imagine... Oh, no Timeless picked up by Soren. Instead opts for the Chrono Boost, leaving Egoist up for NXCD all the way in last pick. I mean, we talked about how common it is to see go early in the draft earlier today, but I suppose that draft was loaded enough that no one was really interested in Egoist except NXCD.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a decent play for a lot of that. Fight or Flight, by the way, is second usually when it gets taken in the draft, so that's no surprise. Especially for the rune, and Kitsuna's rune in particular, who loves looking for dribble plays off of anomalies and bounces to himself, as he does just there. Almost finds it versus Vaughn, but Vaughn's seen those before. S.A.D.B.O.I.S angle is made. Nearly the whole lobby, half the lobby flashes the emote. But the other thing here, too, with Soren picking up Chrono Boost in the last one, the one weakness here, especially as Vaughn picks up more court speed, Soren doesn't have a lot of mobility options, especially if he's diving in with the lifeline, which now he'll have extended range to dive in on the lifeline, which is something that I'm sure he'll love to do. Get involved offensively, just as he is known for doing. But then, in addition, of course, having the extra speed is going to be very consequential. So, very good pickup here. It's not going to save you that particular time, though, as B.O.I.S will find the 4th straight goal for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Beautiful lineup as the core comes right in front of him.
I think this is the most blatant display of psychological warfare I've ever seen in an Omega Strikers game. And I have to imagine that Soren is trying his best right now to not let it get to him. The IME jam comes out. He's trying to signal that he's okay. It's not working. But we'll see if he's able to hold that mentality strong. They're tied in sets right now, and the boys are encroaching ever more.
Beautiful passing play from EKC there in general. Just trying to keep possession. Keeping the core, once again, away from B.O.I.S. The more they can do that, the better off they'll be, especially as he closes in here. There's nothing that Soren can do to shove the core away from that corner as it starts closing in. B.O.I.S looking to take it himself. You already lose, leaping forward in the cyber swipe. Doesn't even need the energy burst at that point. And it's a 5-0 streak maintained by the S.A.D.B.O.I.S.
5-0 streak, and Bells and Yori Luz both having their stacks on stacks up. Vaughn not too far away. No stacks up for the defense of EKC, but NXCD is putting up quite a fight on offense when he can hold possession. Likely to get both barriers here with the help of Katsuna as Katsuna's flip comes online. But it's definitely a tough game with Bells running this quickly.
NXCD almost taken off the pitch. Here's a fiery flurry from Bells. Still doesn't find the KO. Now, finally, NXCD is taken away, but Katsuna finds the energy burst down to the barrier on the other side. Bells will take one barrier for his own. And now Katsuna tries to keep it away, but no, there's just so much speed on this Juliet right now. Bells continues to be all over the map. Gets denied by the proximity drone laid out by Soren. But Bells still covers, working both corners, feeling like at the same time with the amount of speed that this Juliet has right now, courtesy of those stacks on stacks and 2 sparks to his name as well. Soren tries to keep it forward, but there's the dribbling play. Bells up to the top side. Opposite corner, looks for the punch. No, denied that time. Vaughn sends it right back down to Bells. Enhanced core speed with a hot shot there as well. And it's just too much to react to. Everyone gets involved there for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. And it is still 6 straight goals.
Just for some reference on the numbers of what Bells is working with. So he's getting a 3rd spark here, even more speed and some cooldown reduction. We normally start to really gawk at speed numbers when you approach the 700 to 800 territory. With Slick Kicks propped, Bells is rocking 750 speed currently. It's going to have even more now with that 3rd spark. Soren is trying to match him with the peak performance pick, but I'm not sure that that's going to be enough. NXCD gets Knife's Edge here to hopefully secure some more KOs. In fact, it looks like with Prize Fighter falling to Katsuna as well, they're hoping to capitalize on some KO snowballing, but I mean, the S.A.D.B.O.I.S are the ones who've been pumping out damage the last few sets. Deadeye now on You Already Lose. It's going to be harder to escape that than ever.
Yeah, we'll see if they'll be able to, but the KOs haven't come through for EKC nearly as much in this one, and the S.A.D.B.O.I.S come blazing through. Bells finds the dash punch against Soren. Core ricochets off the gravity well the wrong direction. Vaughn looks for the team player. Core speed bonuses here. You Already Lose, jumps in, tries to find the goal. It gets denied, and the forwards will hold for now. Soren scoops up the core there as well, sends it away. Katsuna now potential opportunity for a play here. Looks down for NXCD. Off that bottom side corner. Pass back forth. Now looks to take the shot. You Already Lose has the energy burst that time. Soren looks to send it around, and notice a lot better off right now are EKC when Bells has less core speed, actual speed overall, thanks to the stacks on stacks. Finally, the core will find the net, snapping a 6-goal drought for EKC. But I remind you, this team won the first set 3-0. Has not had a goal since then. It is now set 4. Finally find one there. We'll see whether or not they can keep it up, but really looking for how much speed Bells is going to have and how much presence he can have on the map.
Oh. I'll be honest, I'm surprised they're making any headway, but NXCD does manage to find a dash punch and a strike war against the Flaming Flurry. NXCD bringing EKC back into the running with a 2-point lead, the first they've had in ages.
They're looking to send us to set 5 to stay alive in this series. EKC would love to be towards the top here, especially as playoffs come around. They'll have the opportunity to stay on the winner side of the bracket, potentially even get one of the 3rd or 4th teams and dodge the 1st place. Likely to be Cosmic Calamities with their loss. Anything's up in the air. Bells, though, collapses on the goal. S.A.D.B.O.I.S find a quick one in response. Feels like starting to become now or never, at least in this match. 2 goals left to go here for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. They can take the match here. Or we'll go in orbit for a second, but NXCD gets popped off the map. And it's another power play opportunity. Katsuna has to put in so much work, but the core gets past his Shadow Swap clone. And now Bells in the goal box has the speed necessary. Vaughn, beautiful play to send it around everybody up to the corner. Trusts his brawler to get it done. And the S.A.D.B.O.I.S are on match point.
Yeah, you got to look at this comp and their builds. And the S.A.D.B.O.I.S question is, what the frick are you missing on this comp? And I kind of think the answer is nothing. Vaughn is just sitting this court at light speed up to Bells over and over and over again. The barriers do fall for S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Maybe EKC can bring it back right here. But the power play is not in their favor currently, and the boys are back on the hound.
Caleb leaps in to stun Soren, hoping that another one of his teammates can find the play towards the core. Doesn't work that time. Finally, the gold barrier goes down just as NXCD comes back online. Here comes the extra speed, though, thanks to the now mine. Doesn't matter. Soren will now intercept the core from Bells, which is good news for EKC fans at the moment. Vaughn will be patient here with this one. NXCD gets rattled around quite a bit now, looking to pass to Katsuna off of the anomaly. Bells, though, will catch the core, send it the other way with an energy burst. Here's one for Soren. It gets blocked by his own midfielder's anomaly, and Bells comes in with the Flying Phoenix to scoop up the final goal. S.A.D.B.O.I.S will advance to a 50% win record this season. A lot of time left for this crew, but never count them out. They're coming to get you.
Yeah, the S.A.D.B.O.I.S snowball is in full effect. If I had a guess, they're all breaks. No, that's not the right saying. They're no breaks, no stopping for the rest of the season.
All gas, yeah. No brakes would be the saying you're looking for, Loco.
There you go. You got my back.
How about that performance just for the entire team, right? Their ability to once again shut things down and find ways to continue winning the game. Vaughn picking up so much extra core speed, gets it up to Bells, and the communication and the synergy that forward pair has will just net them goals time and time and time again. As long as Bells gets it, and Bells will get it the core even more when he's got more speed to his name. 3 sparks plus stacks on stacks for that Juliet. Doesn't need to pump out a lot of damage, just needs to be there waiting for the core to come through. And You Already Lose gets involved plenty as is, keeps the core away from his side of the pitch, and then again with the Super Surge pickup, starts going in offensively there as well. Very difficult to find a hole to punch in that overall. You got to try to rely on things like KOs just coming through, and they weren't quite stacking up for the side of EKC, and so they will go down in this match. Of course, they still stand above the S.A.D.B.O.I.S in terms of the overall standings in the league, and things will be heating up as we get towards the back half of the season. EKC has Modern Magic, Cosmic Calamities, and Bang Bang left to play, so likely looking to continue going positive. S.A.D.B.O.I.S have yet to play Bun Bun Bonanza, Demons Raw, and Modern Magic. So both teams feeling pretty confident to go positive, I'd imagine, in the back half of the season with the way things have been played so far. So might see them meet again in playoffs, but we'll see where that one goes.
That's all for this series for now. We'll head to another quick break and be back with some more Omega Strikers for you to enjoy in just a bit.